Beaumont is a mid-sized city, real easy to get around, and it's a good place to live. Monroe Dry Cleaning Company was founded in 1928 by my great-grandfather, and I am third generation, and I presently have been working down here for 38 years. Beaumont, only being 17 miles from the coast, that we're going to get some storms through here from time to time, and we've had some dandies.
All right, let's go back out to Beaumont once again.
Without a doubt, Hurricane Rita making itself present and a dangerous situation here.
When Rita came along, we were all told to get out of here, and it was the first hurricane that I had evacuated from.
Hurricanes impact the whole state. A real example in Ike as well as in Hurricane Rita, there was a tremendous loss of electricity in the East Texas area, from Nacogdoches, Lufkin, all the way up through Tyler. The hurricanes actually impacted those other communities that were miles and miles away.
Thank you for calling Monroe's. This is Llewellyn. Can I help you? I've lived in Beaumont most all my life, and I've worked for Monroe's Dry Cleaners for about 9 years. When the storms came in, we all got evacuated.
It's really important that employees have their own preparedness plan in place, that they've done really 3 basic things, that they follow the instructions of local authorities in the midst of a disaster, that they have a plan at home, and then also to have all those really basic things in a kit that you have at home, and that you have kind of a condensed version of that kit in your vehicle as well.
I was worried during that time, is this storm gonna catch us on the road? You know, because this storm's moving in the coast and we're stopped for hours and hours and hours. I realized how hard it was gonna hit Beaumont and all of us down here. Then I was worried, you know, what's gonna happen to my store? What's gonna happen to my company? Am I gonna have a job when I get back? I have 4 kids, so even if it is a hurricane, if you're not making any money, then you can't feed your family. Thank you. You have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye. When Rita came, we did not come back for a week. There was no service, not enough police department. Public water supply was contaminated. There was no electricity.
Every business should have a disaster plan for the continuity of their own business as well as the employees that work within that business.
There's a lot of things that business depends on day to day that may or may not be available once a disaster occurs. How will they pay their bills? How will employees get to and from work? What if there's a high absentee rate? How will they handle that? How do they get stock, inventory resupplied, whether it's food or other goods that they sell?
During Rita, our plan was we played it by the seat of our pants.
You look back at history and you look at the businesses that don't have any plans. Those businesses, for the vast majority of them, if there's a major disaster in their community, they won't survive.
When we come back in, you could see debris everywhere, and power lines were down, but I kept in touch with my supervisor and told her I was back. The woman at the time, she was a wheel and deal kind of person, you know, and she says, okay, we're washing clothes for the utility workers. You know, if you want, come on down.
Slowly but surely, business was coming back, and we made some real good improvements. You cannot afford not to be prepared. When Ike came along, we had a plan.
And it's so much more than just having off-site backup of data for your business. There are a variety of other things that you need to include in that, how to communicate with employees and how to coordinate evacuation, the steps that you need to go through to harden your facility if there's a storm coming, the steps you need to go through to get your business back on its feet once the disaster is past.
When there's evacuation called, we have a plan. The supervisors start coming out to the stores, and we each have our own materials to cover our windows. The maintenance guys, they immediately start boarding up the stores, and you give them your contact numbers and say, this is where I'm headed.
In Ike, we had everybody's phone number, and they touch base with us every 24 hours with their supervisors. And everybody has a duty. And for instance, one guy's duty is to make sure that everybody has a card where they can get back in town. Another person's duty is to have blow-up beds and sheets so that we can sleep about 20 people down. Another person's duty, maintenance side, is to make sure the generator runs out here. And the cooks to make sure that we have drinks and food for everybody around here.
We've learned from the past hurricanes how to prepare for a hurricane. We got water, we got Cokes, we got food. I got gumbo. I got about 8 gallons of gumbo in there.
During Ike, we fed all of our people. We fed the police department. We had the mayor stop by one time and eat. Just trying to get life back to normal for as many people as possible.
The community is a group of businesses. When businesses are open, it's much easier to get back into some set of normalcy.
After Hurricane Ike, I went to work within 2 days. Just long enough to get my house in order, and then I was back.
I think the better you prepare, the easier it is to recover. All in all, recovery is built on individual preparedness, one person, one family at a time.
I think Monroe's dry cleaning was prepared, and I think if they hadn't been on their feet and been ready, I would have had nowhere to work.
A really important component of the recovery phase is getting business and the economy back on its feet. If you don't have people back to work, you can't really restore all the essential services and activities of the community.
You know, everything centers around business picking up and going. The paychecks, the restaurants, everybody's got to have people back in order to get the city up and functioning the way it should. You can sleep better at night when they tell you there's a storm in the Gulf when you're ready to go. If we had a storm tomorrow, we know what we would do.
You just saw how businesses that have a plan in place can weather the crisis and recover more quickly. Whether it's a hurricane, flood, tornado, or man-made disaster, individuals and businesses must be ready to respond and recover from a major catastrophe. That's why it's important to have a plan, to have essential items needed to live through a disaster, and to know how you'll get credible information during a crisis. Make a plan at texasprepares.org. You can also contact emergency management organizations to find out more about the plans available in your area. Your community's recovery depends upon it.